brought to its conclusion.
The accused was promised a fair hearing. I am sure the other bailies and burgesses here would like him to do a further account of his tales. Please continue, master.
Indeed. I was more fortunate than many, for I was bought by a fellow Scot, Hugh Wilson, a farmer who had been kidnapped a number of years before myself. My book tells of my life on the farm, but suffice to say I spent several years there, and then on his untimely death I was free to leave. I looked forward to a happy life even in exile, for I married and by hard work obtained my own farm. But more trouble was to come. Whilst my wife was on a visit to her kinsfolk, our home was attacked by Indians, involved with the French in a war to rid the British from the colonies. Many of our number were slaughtered, but luck was with me. I had hidden from the Indians when I'd heard their war cries, but alas, they found me, and I was taken prisoner once again. Taken prisoner, yet spared to live amongst those savages. Indeed, they are cruel yet interesting people, and I've written much about their culture in my publications. I longed to be back at home on the farm with my wife, and so after several months I made good my escape from the Indian village and made my way back home. Sad news was to greet me there, for I found that my wife had died in my absence and my home was no more. Since I had no other way of making a living, I decided to become a soldier and fight against the French. Unfortunately, I was wounded, captured once again, and returned to England on a French vessel in a prisoner exchange agreement. Fate had smiled upon me. I was back on British soil. I decided that since I'd been spared to return, that I would write of my adventures. I told my tales by word of mouth on my way back here to Aberdeen. I wrote and was fortunate enough to have my writings published in York last year. I was glad to do so. I felt it my duty to publicise the slave trading here in Aberdeen and the involvement of those in high places. It was the least I could do for those less fortunate than myself. That is how I came to be selling my publication here today. You can all read about my adventures in my book.
Thank you, Master Williamson. I'm sure the court have listened with great interest to all you have disclosed and will duly award the proper verdict of not guilty of the charges brought against him. I have no further questions, thank you, sir.
I'm again glad to hear it. Since this trial has gone on long enough, then I shall refrain from the many other searching questions that I could have put to him, to his certain discredit. Now, I now instruct you, Thomas Cruikshank, to take the verdict of the assize here gathered. Guilty or not guilty of libel. And I would further instruct you, the members of the assize, to return a unanimous guilty verdict. For in my opinion, his whole story is pure fabrication. Fiction from beginning to end.
Those of you that believe that Peter Williamson be guilty of libel, raise your recht hand. Those of you that believe that Peter Williamson be not guilty of libel, raise your recht hand. Not guilty.
You have foolishly disregarded my instructions and returned a not guilty verdict. However, since I am the presiding judge, it is in my power to overrule any verdict that I feel does not serve the ends of justice and truth, and that I now do. Peter Williamson, the offending pages will be torn from your publications and burned at the market cross by the public hangman. Moreover, you will be incarcerated in the Tolbooth until you sign a confession recanting all of the scurrilous libels in your writing. Thereafter, the said confession to be made public in certain newspapers. Moreover, you will be banished forever from Aberdeen. Take him away. This court is dismissed.
What you've done here today will be seen as a blight on the history of Aberdeen.
Come
on with you, man, and hug your waist. It's a cell for you, the neck in there, barn. Go up that stairs and up to that stair.
I can see you.